Welcome to the Soulful Parenting Podcast, hosted by Ambra Redrick.
And today I am on another blind date. And I get the opportunity to talk to another dope mom, a mom that I just met about 5 minutes ago. So I'm excited to introduce you to Peace and to learn about her parenting.
Hi. I'm good. I'm good. Good to be here.
It's good to be with you. You got good energy.
Good. You do as well.
Thanks. You.
Good.
So I like to start at the teen years, since it's teen height.
Indeed.
And tell me one word that would have described you as a teenager.
Rebellious. Rebellious.
What did that look like?
Oh, wait. At a certain point, I had very strict parents. So, I felt like it was time for me to break out around 12, 13, about 13.
It's time to make your baby.
I did. I left home at a young age. I left home at 14.
Left?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Left home at 14. Found myself, the only way that I could provide for myself at that time was getting involved in the drug life, unfortunately. It didn't last long though. It didn't last long.
Okay.
But yeah, became a teen mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you when you gave birth?
I was 16.
16.
I was 16.
Okay. I gave birth at 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you have a girl or boy?
Girl.
All right. You remember that moment where you looked down at her?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What went through your mind?
It was like, God. I had to call on him. God. Yeah, I was in labor. It seemed like for 2 days. That first one is, I know it was the hardest for me.
Yeah. I swore the hospital was trying to teach me a lesson.
Yeah.
I swore that. I was like, I think y'all are being unnecessarily cruel. I
wait.
get the Tylenol.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was rough. So to have her finally in my arms was like, woo, I will never do this again. Yeah, right.
That's
yeah, right.
That's
Yeah. So yeah, teen life. I was a good child, but like I said, my parents were strict, and so about 13, 14, it was like I was ready to flex, and I had to bump my head. I had to trip and fall. I had to, fall off a few cliffs for me to sat down somewhere, as my mom would say, sat down somewhere. But it was rough, but definitely definitely the fiber that makes me who I am today. You know?
So after you gave birth, did you go back home then?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I did. I did.
All right. And what was so did you finish high school?
So I attempted to.
Okay.
I didn't finish high school until I was married. I got married really young.
Okay.
Once I did get home and settle back down with my firstborn, I got married, and I didn't finish my education until I was, 3 children in already, but I did that. It was important for me to do that. But yeah, I was already a mom and wife by the time I finished school.
Okay.
Mhm.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 17, 18. 17, 18, fresh out of yeah. I was about to say fresh out of high school. I did finish high school, but, yeah, it was early. I started my family real early.
So you
Mhm,
in love, I'm making an assumption, you get married, leave the nest,
uh-huh,
start another nest,
mhm.
and how are those first few years?
Honestly, life-changing. Life-changing. I found, the Nation of Islam at that time, and that time for me was the medicine that I needed.
Okay.
It really applying applying the teachings at that time was life-changing for me. And that's when life was, that's when I started swimming
Mm,
again, after I felt like, I was drowning in those early teen years. Life took off for me
okay.
at that point.
What and I'm making an assumption that was different than you were raised?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
How did your
yes.
parents take the
Woo! We it was rough. It was rough because I was still in my parents' home and just so I look back on those years. They were good for me. I know that that was the medicine that I needed, but I was so immature. You know what I'm saying? How dare I be in my parents' home and try to, make changes and adjustments in their home, you know what I'm saying? So, looking back at that, it was like, I can't believe I did that stuff. But, I did go back years later and apologize to my parents. I'm like, "Please forgive me." I was just, I had knowledge and ran with it, and I was just radical, like, no rationale, just you know what I'm saying? But, again, that was the fiber,
Okay.
of
And so I'm assuming your husband practiced it, the next year
yes.
well? Absolutely.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
And how long before you give birth again?
2 years.
Okay.
2 years, and that was, like, the pattern for me. It was like every it was like every 2 years. I would, I nursed all my babies with the exception of my first one,
Okay.
and so it was like, yeah, that was the pattern. It was like every 2 years.
Intentionally?
No, not at all. Not at all. Was it a plan in action? But, But we were good though. We were, you know what I'm saying? We were solid as a family, and so it wasn't like, "Oh my god." It was like, "Here we go. We got it." You know what I'm saying? So, that was the beautiful thing. It wasn't we didn't have a burden type of mentality,
Mm.
you know. Um we knew that, this is what it is. Let's go. Let's multiply the earth. Let's replenish the earth. But yeah, I know.
So then life didn't change much for the second.
It was definitely easier.
Okay.
Definitely much easier.
A
Like
girl? Ian?
yes,
Okay.
another girl, and another girl.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. 2 years later.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that means that now you have a 6-year-old young, that's now school age.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And when did you stop?
Wow. Great question.
Or have you stopped?
6 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago, so I started all over again. Um, I remarried, started all over again, and so I have, my youngest is 5.
The youngest?
I'm sorry, 6. My
6.
youngest is 6, oldest is 34.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so how many children do you have?
So 14,
Okay.
12 that I've birthed,
Okay.
and, my husband's bonus 2, my bonus babies make 14.
And has there ever been a time where they were all in the house? You had all
Yes.
14?
Yes. Yes, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. I'm trying to remember if it was my birthday. I can't remember which holiday was, what we were celebrating, but we were all there, and it was so awesome. It was so amazing. Our families blended so well.
So did you I just can't imagine. I would imagine that if you had 12 kids that you really loved them.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I always wanted a big family. I didn't know we were going that big because I come from a family of 8.
Okay.
So, I was used to a pretty big family. I always had that number in mind. About 7.
Okay. I wanted a
You
large
know,
family, but I
yeah,
have a small family, so I wanted a large family,
indeed.
which is why I got 10 because God knew
Absolutely.
two's enough. You don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so what's it like to have that many kids in the house and to be able to manage? I could barely stay organized with one. How?
I was had to be a lot of prayer because I was able to manage by the grace of God. I was able to manage. We kept a beautiful home. We um we were like the block club.
Mm.
People would come to our home for the block club and they would be fascinated. They was like, "What is," they was like, "What's going on here? How do you do this?" But by the grace of God, I was able to manage and maintain a beautiful home. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that because a lot of parents, like you said, a lot of parents they have one or two and they like, what the heck? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, I was able to manage.
When did you get to the place where you was like, I got this? When did you know you was a dope mom? Because there were plenty of moments where we like, I hope nobody see that.
I'm gonna say about 4 in,
Okay.
about 4 or 5
What
in.
did you think you were best at?
I was good at multitasking. I was good at preparing, preparing meals, preparing for the next day. And I got that from my grandparents and my aunt. When we would go to church, my cousins and I would stay at my grandmother's house. And she was very diligent about making sure everything was laid out and pressed out and hair was done and baths was taken, and you know what I'm saying? So that
That stuff.
yeah, it stuck with me. It stuck with me. So I was good about I never allowed my children to be an excuse why I couldn't go somewhere or be somewhere or um be an active mom. I was always an active mom. And so because of that, being able to manage that, I was able to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do, you know.
And did you pursue a career while you were raising?
Yeah, so I was a stay-at-home mom for years, and I had learned to sew, and I remember it as clear as if it was yesterday. I was in my basement, I was sewing a garment, and I always had a love for writing, but I had kind of put it on the back burner, of course, family duties, family calls. But I was sewing. I was sewing a garment in a basement. I had a manila folder there and I just started writing. Flipped the folder over, started writing again. And I looked back on what I wrote and it was this beautiful poetry coming through me. And I remember sitting at my machine and the tears were flowing and I was like, one day, God, please allow me to be able to share, these writings. And it was maybe wasn't even a year or two later, that particular poem that I had written on that manila envelope, I performed that piece. It was called A Conversation Piece with Abuse. And I did that at a slam for the first time and won first place. And that was my journey into poetry, into slam poetry.
Mm.
And that was the start of my career. That's what got the ball rolling for me. It was that poem performing, and like I said, I took it upon myself to throw myself in this poetry slam. It was at the Max Fisher at the time, which is the DSO now, and won first place.
Where'd those words come from?
Experience,
Okay.
lived experience, seeing, being in a home that was somewhat abusive, um, being a teen that was in a abusive relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize it at the time, but writing became a healing for me. It became a healing for me, and so yeah, that piece was definitely lived experience, and watching my mother, what she went through in our home, and it was me facing off, if you will, with abuse,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was that piece was life changing, life changing.
Did your children know that you were performing?
Not at that time.
No, not back then.
Not at that time. It wasn't until years later. It wasn't until years later. But
Mama was a
so
celebrity.
so well, they didn't. Nah, they didn't. They didn't. They would hear me do my thing around the house and sing, and I love music. Music was my first love, and I come from a family of musicians and singers, so they heard that all the time in the house, but they didn't get to see me really do my thing until years later,
Okay.
and they was like, "Whoa,"
Okay.
yeah.
How long did you stay in the Nation of Islam?
19 years
Okay.
at the time, and yeah, it was 19 years.
Okay.
And ironically enough, well, it's not ironic, but certain life situations, brought me back to that space. So now I feel like I'm back.
Went back there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so all of the children were
Mhm.
raised under the Nation of Islam. And do you have grandchildren?
Mhm.
That full
Mhm.
circle. Isn't that
Mhm.
interesting?
It is. It is. Yeah.
It is. It's
Sick.
different when you see your babies raising babies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's boy, that was a proud moment for me. My first seeing my first grandchild born. I had the opportunity to be in the room and to be present, and that just to be on the other side
Yeah.
of that.
You okay?
Yeah.
It's falling apart. I just was
I
like,
was
I got to
good.
watch my child go through pain.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
just
yeah,
couldn't,
yeah.
my brain, it was too much. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah. It is a lot. It's a lot. But yeah. I coached her through it. We got through it. And it was good. It was beautiful.
And was her first baby a girl or boy?
Girl.
A girl. Also.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um, how did your children surprise you?
In what aspect? What do you mean? Like,
What kinds of things did they do that just kind of felt unexpected or like they didn't follow a traditional pattern?
oh, surprise. Well, you would think it wasn't, surprising for them to have similar gifts and talents as I did. But when I heard them sing and when I heard them, you know, quite a few of them, now are engineers and producers now. So it's amazing to be able to, see that and witness that. One of the things that really surprised me now that I think about it, one of my sons, Joshua, remember a little while ago I told you that I sewed.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught to sew, and my son now has like his little clothing line. And it's like, wow, I mean, that was big for me. Definitely surprising because I didn't think he would go in that direction or take up, that skill. But he makes his own jackets and he has this beautiful Lauryn Hill jacket. It's amazing. But her face is imprinted, in the fabric. and just the cut of the jacket is so awesome, so awesome. So yeah, that was definitely surprising. Surprising. Mhm.
You're the first mom that has sat on this couch and made parenting sound easy. Wow. To have that many children and to make it sound like a breeze, because you really do. You make it sound like,
Oh, I know there were definitely difficult moments, but I had beautiful support. Not to mention as the children had gotten older, they would help out. They would help out with the younger sibs. So I don't know. For me, it feels like it was a breeze. Like I said, there were some difficult moments, but I really do believe that the upbringing um that we had with the children, I didn't have a lot of problems with them. Like I didn't have a lot of veering off and, just troublemaking. Like they were good children. They still are to this day. They just beautiful humans. And I really do believe the upbringing of the nation and the discipline that we were taught really helped with the rearing of my children. And
were you worried when they got close to teen years? Did you think?
yes, oh my
'Cause
God,
I know
yes,
most parents tell their kids, you're gonna reap what you sow. I can't wait till you have a baby so you can see what it was like to raise you.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I had so there were as I'm thinking about it, there were, the handful that breezed through the teen years, but there were, the other half that they did
Well,
all the things, skip school and,
yeah.
you know.
Did you have to have I feel like sometimes in households there's that moment where it's that woman to woman when that teenager some happens in girls
Yeah,
and boys, but it's just different.
yeah.
And you're like, okay, one of us is only one woman in this house. And
Mhm.
did that happen?
Yes, yes, with my firstborn.
Oh,
Yeah, with
okay, the
my
first one.
firstborn, yeah.
Okay.
She was that one that, yeah, we had to have hands-on, literally
Hands-on
hands-on
conversations.
conversation. Yeah, but she got the point. Now that's the one that's, I mean, she's so focused and business-minded now. You would never think that, we had those rough patches, but she's amazing. And that's why I was saying earlier, even though, I had those rebellious years as a teen, but it shaped me and I was able to figure out in my own mind like one wrong, one right for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got that point real quick. You know what I'm saying? Real early on. Wrong wasn't right for me. So just do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of them seeing the few older ones, just really run amok. The younger ones was like, nope, not doing that. You know what I'm saying? They had that example to look at, like, I'm not going down that road. And so, yeah, those first couple was rough, but the rest of them was like,
What did they teach you about yourself?
that maybe I was doing something right. Maybe I did something right. Um, yeah, did something right in those moments. You know.
Do you feel like that when your children had children that they followed your footsteps?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They are amazing parents. I have 8 grandbabies already. 8 grandbabies. And to see them with their children is it's amazing. It's amazing. And there are moments that, remind me of myself with them, you know. I see how they have patterned themselves, you know, um, after some of the things that, we taught them as children. They just amazing humans. Like, I'm so grateful for the child that I had.
Nice.
Mhm.
So I feel like that there are these sets of things that we are called to like teach our young people about. And so I want to know the conversations that you had with your babies. What'd you tell them about racism?
Oh. We dealt, I think the racism conversation came in where we lived in Dearborn for, a nice period of time, and, they went to school with Arab Muslims. They went to school with, Black children as well, but there were Caucasians in their school as also. And, being around that diversity, having them to understand there are differences, and, you know, I our people have suffered a lot. I really went down through there with them about the things that we suffer as a people, um, teaching them to love themselves despite of, and, to be able to, accept who they are. And, I don't know, like, being that they did have that diversity early on, um, it really did, help them to be comfortable, with themselves, and not be ashamed of who they are as Black men and Black women. Um,
It's hard to do.
yeah,
We're talking about race.
yeah,
Capable,
absolutely,
confident children.
absolutely.
It's easy.
It's not.
What about sexuality?
Yes, we've had to have them conversations early on. Um, yeah. I didn't have those conversations, um, in my household growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It was kinda like taboo. And so to talk sexuality, um, in our home, it was a little touchy, but we dealt with it. And one of the ways I like to, deal with it is to remind them of their nature, but also not to judge. Also not to judge, and I think that now, so here's the tough thing to consider and think about. There are a few of the children that I think may have ventured venture out, away from what we taught them. But I never, just as I was telling them not to judge, I never, judged them, and always, was open arms, and let's talk about it. And so even though it was touchy, it's because I was so, open to, to not judging them, and showing them, an example. But I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to love you. I'm gonna love you regardless. I'm gonna love you, for who you are. And that's that.
What did you tell them about relationships and love, considering all of the experiences that you had?
I think my husband and I was a good example, for them. They saw us work together. They saw us, um, build a beautiful home from, with little or nothing. Um, they had a great example. At least we strove to be good examples in front of them. I grew up in a two-parent home as well. I did see abuse in the home, but I really tried to, you know, I really tried the things that I maybe didn't like or was adverse to in my own growing up, just trying to be, different from what my experience was. And we had such a loving environment in our home. And I think it was because of what I had witnessed, you know, as a young girl. So they grew up in a loving environment, and I know that's what shaped and molded them.
God, did you teach them about me?
I taught them prayer really early, just like my mom taught me, and mm, understanding that to put more of their trust in God and less in people, you know, when times are hard, even in their struggles as teenagers and young adults, that's where you pull and get your strength from. And never be afraid to um seek God's assistance before anything else, you know.
You have such a calm spirit. Were there times where the mama bear came out?
Yes.
Is there a
Yes.
girl in here?
My children would tell you, I had a look that I could give them, and they would just straighten up. They like, yes, I had to let Mama Bear out a few times, but
Did you have to
this
leave mama bear out with other people? Did you have to be an advocate or an ally?
yes, absolutely, absolutely, especially when it was time to go up to the schools and see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, yeah,
Is there anything that stands out during those times? Because I think oftentimes parents have to like switch over to ally. They don't always necessarily know how. We got a strong like cuss out gene, but to
yeah,
be able to advocate and ask for what your children need is a skill, really.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think one of the most challenging things that I can remember, and I'm facing it again with the few younger ones that I have now, but it was um, pledging allegiance.
Mm.
And in our home, we didn't pledge allegiance, but I always taught my children to respect the flag.
Okay.
So definitely stand, but we didn't pledge allegiance for the obvious reasons of what we've been put under as a people, with that flag, but always taught them to respect the flag. And so being able to translate that to their teachers and administrators, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I was the only one in this, in that class setting or the school that maybe had a religious difference or an issue with that, and had to deal. Some teachers were understanding and others were, it was difficult to get that point across. However, they of course had to respect that, but it wasn't always easy to be able to express that and not have um maybe even the children look at my child a certain way, or because they're doing something totally different from the majority of the classroom. And so that sometimes was a little interesting in dealing with, but we got through it. We got through it and, they respected our wishes to.
Did they stay in Dearborn schools or did they eventually go back?
They eventually went back to Detroit
And did you
school.
have the same experiences in Detroit schools?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What differences did you find between, raising your boys versus raising?
Well, naturally, boys are, it's that interesting dynamic, mama's boy. Mothers are always. I don't know, what that is, but we're a little more connected and closer with the boys and the girls generally with their fathers. Um, but, you know, that male energy, it was so different, in the household because we had the girls first. We had a few girls first and then we had boys. So we didn't get that aggressive nature until, several children down the line. And so it was a big difference. But I mean just showing them lots of love nonetheless. But definitely those aggressive natures, you know, um girls sometimes could be um they'll challenge, they challenge my girls challenge me. You know what I'm saying? So the girls challenge me. The boys were a little different in that, it was even to this day, my relationship with the boys, they'll come check on me. They'll, make sure I'm good, you know. Yeah. That's big. That's big.
I love to
Mhm.
see a boy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
interesting how they tend to be, even if they are the hardest boy in the world, they are
Uh-huh.
always really gentle
With their
and tender
mother.
with their mom. It's
Absolutely.
really beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Any any regrets or things that you wish you would have done different?
I wish I would have, had them to experience other, um, facets of activities and learning. I think I kinda pushed the children, um, towards the things that I loved. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give me much, pullback because they did enjoy those things, but I wish I would've introduced them to, you know, more things, let them, stretch their wings a little more in other areas, you know, gave them a little more culture.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a few rapid fire questions?
Sure.
Best parenting advice that you have gotten, solicited or unsolicited?
That I have gotten?
Mhm.
Mm. Um, I know, right?
A lot of good parenting nuggets.
Wow. Why do I have a blank right now?
Okay, we can come back to
Yeah, 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 yeah. We come back to it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask both of these. I was gonna switch it on you since you're an artist. But okay. A movie that every young person must see.
Sister Act. Definitely.
Sister Act. Just
Uh,
part 1. Sister
part 1
Act.
and 2. But see, the music,
I was
the
about to say,
music piece,
I think
you know
about
what
your
I'm
sister
saying?
music.
School of Rock. Like, what child hasn't seen School of Rock? Let me see, any others? again, blanks with those two in particular. Yeah.
Okay. A piece of music you want them to know.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. The kid.
It's hard.
In the kid life.
Oh,
It's so many jewels.
that's a good.
So many jewels in that album. Yeah, it's like you gotta sat down and listen to this.
In the words of your mother.
In the kid life, definitely.
Oh, that is a really good one. You gotta do that early. It's hard to get them to listen once they become teenagers. They like, you lost your mind. But while they listen to kids bop and all the other stuff, you can slap pretty much anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, back to parenting advice.
Parenting advice. Good parenting advice.
Or maybe okay, so go for it.
Mm-hmm. My mother-in-law would always say, and she still to this day, she says it to the younger children and even the grandbabies. But pretty is as pretty does. Pretty is as pretty does. You know, your actions gotta, your actions gotta be just as fine as you. You know what I'm saying? So she, to this day, that's her slogan. Yeah.
Somewhere that you believe every young person should lay eyes on. Please.
Say that one more time.
A place that you believe every young person should experience.
Oh, I just for the first time in my life, just came back from Miami, and being at that ocean, you know, being able to stand in the Atlantic Ocean was like, it was powerful. It was powerful, especially given, our history, coming through those waters. So it was powerful. Yeah, I would say get to an ocean.
Get to an ocean. Well, I know why your name is Peace. That's all you bringing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out your day and away from them babies.
Indeed.
Blessed babies. Thanks for having you.
Thank you so much.
All right.